We'd like to talk about some of the maintenance of your Stinger electric flex shaft vibrator motor. And we want to start with when you get one right out of the package, and we have to break in the core and casing. First thing you want to do is you actually want to just turn the vibrator motor on and hold the core and casing down by the head, and just simply bend it back and forth, kind of coiling it and bending it. And this will help distribute the grease that's inside of the core. You'll know you're done by the sound of the vibrator. You'll actually hear it speed up, or the amp draw will actually diminish. This should take about a minute. When you buy a Stinger new from us, it can come pre-assembled with core and casing and head already on it. If you buy it that way, the core and casing will already be lubricated, and there'd be no reason to tear it apart. It's be ready for use, and all you'd have to do is break it in. But if you buy the core and casing separately, you'll have to grease the core and casing, or after about every 50 hours, you want to grease the core and casing anyway. So we're going to walk through that process as well. To grease the core and casing, we need to remove the vibrator head from the core and casing, and so we want to put that in a vise. And make sure you clamp that down right on top of the weld. And when you remove that, just remember it is reverse thread, so you want to go the opposite direction. Once you have the vibrator head removed from the core and casing, you want to simply pull out the core from the inside. It just slide back and forth very easy. And put some gloves on and dip your hands in some of the synthetic grease. Simply slide it through your fingers and apply the grease. You want about a 1/16 of an inch covering and coating the entire core. About every 100 hours, you're going to want to pull the vibrator head off and pull it apart and replace the oil that's inside of there. That's going to give you your best life and keep the bearings running very smoothly. And so let's take a look at how to do that. To get the weights and bearings out of the housing, we want to use a bump tool and simply bump it upside down until the weights and bearings actually fall to the bottom. Next, we want to simply wash our weights and bearings with a solvent. We use mineral spirits, and then after that, dry them off. Now, before we put our weights and bearings back into the vibrator housing, we have to put the proper amount of oil in. There's a chart in your manual that tells you the proper amount because different diameters require different amounts of fluid. Then we want to put some gasket sealant on the casing adapter and then hand tighten the casing adapter on. Now take the vibrator head and put it back in the vise. Use a pipe wrench to tighten down the casing adapter, and then allow it to stand for 15 minutes to allow the gasket sealant to solidify. Once the gasket sealant is cured up, then you're ready to reassemble it to the core and casing, and the core and casing to the motor, and ready to get back to work.